All right, you know how Karoline Leavitt did this press conference where she was a propagandist for the state, as she do, and many people were just absolutely flabbergasted by something that happened that I want to show you that could be a scandal. But first, I do want to show the love to all of the many of people who loved my X post here. Just too perfect. Look at this comparison. She's literally the North Korean propagandist for the state. It's crazy. Look at this. Podcast listeners, picture that iconic image of a North Korean propagandist. Now picture Karoline Leavitt. So some differences, obviously, characteristically, but they have a similar-ish out. It's funny. I can't explain it. Didn't I sound ridiculous? So what is everyone up in arms about this particular presser? Among gamblers, among bettors. What? I found this story interesting. She abruptly ended her press conference, and a lot of bettors think it was rigged to make a small few a bunch of money who were betting on how long the press conference was going to go. Now, I'm going to say that sounds a little far-fetched to me, but it's fun to think about. Let's read, and I'll show you the part where she ends the press conference. Gamblers who bet on the length of the White House daily press briefings cried foul on Wednesday. Stop betting on random events, guys. Stop it. How long is the White House press briefing going to go and you got money on that? You got an issue. That's called an issue. Cried foul on Wednesday after Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt made the curious decision to end her comments just seconds shy of the 65-minute mark, raking in a small fortune for those fortunate enough to have made such a savvy guess. At her briefing, a grinning Leavitt introduced new dietary guidelines in alignment with the administration's Make America Healthy Again campaign, addressed President Trump's oil deal with Venezuela, and discussed the U.S. seizure of a tanker linked to Venezuela for sanction violations. But it was her abrupt end to questions that had bettors up in arms. So here's an example of the post that brought this to the attention of news outlets. You had people on X, prediction market traders, saying today's White House press briefing had a 98% chance of running over 65 minutes until Karoline Leavitt abruptly ended it with seconds to spare. Traders on the no side made 50x in seconds. Hot diggity dog! Maybe her... No, I won't. No, I won't make that joke. No, I won't make that joke. Choose your own adventure again and decide what I was going to say. Bet on what... So this was the moment where they were certain it was going to get past 65 minutes, and she bounced.
In November of last year. And so I would encourage everyone to take a look at the website. It's quite well done. And thank you all very much. It's great to be back with you.
Thank you.
50x. That's the real deal. Gamblers and critics erupted Wednesday after Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt abruptly ended a White House briefing just seconds before the 65-minute mark. A razor thin cutoff that torpedoed near certain bets and handed massive payouts to a lucky few. Leavitt breezed through health guidelines, Venezuelan oil deals, and even bragged about a White House website mocking January 6th before suddenly scooping up her papers and bolting, leaving bettors stunned. Prediction, this is so AI. I guess it's not Cassie. Maybe Cassie's real. Prediction gambler, chance, and what we looked at with 30 seconds to spare. Again, I think there's plenty of reason to be really skeptical that a lot of Trump's tariff announcements were previewed to certain people who then could make really big trading choices and make a lot of money. We've seen those big decisions made right before he makes an announcement that then swings a particular industry or stock or whatever. And I think there's perfectly good reason, despite not having, I guess, direct evidence, to say this is an extremely corrupt administration. That we have evidence of, to be clear. And maybe their corruption goes as far as to play around with things like this. This particular one, I'm not seeing it. Maybe she just ended the press conference. Like, she ends it kind of that abruptly a lot of times. But it does just tell you the state of things. So one account said, what stage of capitalism is it when the White House is rigging betting markets on how long its press briefings denying war crimes will last? So if this were true, it's a combination of crazy factors. It's not that their principles would prevent them from doing this. I do think they've done things like that, certain people around Trump with tariffs. And Trump has just been as much money as he can while he's president, and all of his family around him. And hey, Barron, here's 150 mil. Hey, whatever. Oh, this foreign country wants to give me money. Yeah, I'll give you this thing in return. Woo, 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 woo. They'd do it. They'd have no problem with it. For some reason, it's just not striking me as the thing they would do. But maybe. But then you have this reminding us that people are going around betting on press briefings and how long they're going to be. And we have to stop. This is going to be a crazy addiction. Click the subscribe button if you feel a little addicted to this show. We would love that. Very simple, free, and it helps to grow the message. And I think it's going to increasingly become a huge problem, especially when Kalshi, I think the example on screen was from Kalshi, this betting market, you can bet on random things. Pretty soon it'll be, will Luke say Cartel de los so bad in today's show, and if I do, you make a bunch of money, right? But then if I leak that to somebody, I say, hey, Ben, I'm gonna say man, and you should bet on that, then there could be like insider trading going on. And I just don't think it's healthy for people, and we know it's not healthy for people to get fixated on betting on every little thing. But here's the Kalshi founders being like, we are going to turn every single disagreement into a tradable asset, which sounds like hell.
Mark, you've mentioned multiple times that you think prediction markets will be bigger than the stock market. What is it going to take to become $1 trillion asset class?
It's pretty much already like a close to $100 billion a year asset class, right? Like, it's pretty easy to imagine a 10x from here. Like, we haven't even started. It's been a year. I think a very large number of people care, much larger than traditional markets. And I think retail as a pie has just been growing in the US, and I think it's going to keep growing. It's growing in the stock market, it's growing outside of the stock market. The long-term vision is to financialize everything and create a tradable asset out of any difference in opinion. And I think if you do build a general purpose exchange that can resolve differences of opinions on anything, like, the TAM is quite massive, quite a bit bigger than the current TAM of the stock market. I think putting aside sort of the
So listen, I'm not an expert. I've sports betted before. I'm over it. Okay. I don't anymore. I didn't lose all my money. Okay, if you're asking, I didn't. The long-term vision is to financialize everything and create a tradable asset out of any difference of opinion. I don't think that sounds good. I think that's how a lot of people get really addicted, and they're all sitting at home, and between masturbation, they're going and betting on every little news item. And then they're betting on how long it's going to take them to masturbate.
Yeah.
That just doesn't sound good. I don't think that's where we should head. Go do other things. Most likely, you'll be better with your money if you're not chucking it how long Leavitt will do a press conference.